Guys, welcome to Dria Talks Thursdays. I am your girl Dria, and I have my co-host, Revelarity Minds, in the building, guys.
What's
She
up?
didn't
What's up? Sprinkle,
period.
what, sparkle fingers? What? Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, welcome to another one because we then took a hiatus. A lot of things have shifted around and have changed. And so those are good changes as well, right? And so we want to know how to, navigate through change. And y'all, I'm gonna put myself out there. I ain't gonna lie. Because I think it's gonna help not just me, but it's gonna help a lot of others to feel comfortable in the phase of where I'm saying where I am is in the villain phase. What you got going on? What you mean, villain? Yes. Being comfortable, right? And owning, if you will, right? Being the villain in the story of the life of any of the exes that I've had in my life. And I know I've been painted as being this maybe evil or vindictive or bitter, or I might be doing damn magic and shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, really? I am okay with being that villain to those exes who I am no longer, thank the Lord. No, I'm just playing. That I am no longer, responsible for. That was a lot of responsibility that I alone having to take the accountability of taking the responsibilities of off of their shoulder. You know what I'm saying? And putting it on mine. I can't be complaining about the shit and I'm offering. They just gonna take if I'm offering it. And so I'm okay though. I'm not. That's a part of life that I'm at. Like I'm learning. Like, okay, this is a part of life. These are some of the lessons that I've had to learn and that I'm learning, apparently, because I just got popped today. And like, oh, I ain't even know. So had to rebound from that. You feel me? That was a lesson learned. And so life moves on, right? When things don't turn out the way that we expect them to, what is going to be the response? And so me not giving okay, because I ain't got no more give. You feel me? Like I don't have no more to give, and so that's the villain phase. Like I don't care no more. When I had all the care for you, when I had all the empathy for you, to shelter you and support you and nurture you and do all this shit, you didn't want it. You didn't want it. And so I stopped caring. Like, fuck it, I don't want it either. Bye. Okay, just period. The fuck, like, yo, that is what we gonna be talking about. Okay, this is what we're gonna be talking about today. It's 11:11. This is a portal opening up right now. This is a powerful time right now to harness in on this energy. And working on ourselves, right? Working on them shadow sides, working on those dark sides. Some of the sides I've learned about self-sabotaging, right? Taking ownership of that and taking accountability and where the opportunities that may have been missed or that could be missed due to us making certain decisions in our lives that'll, it'll counter at it. You be like, bam, bam. Oh, that's what it gave. That's the effect it gave from that decision I made. Damn, that was a lesson learned. And so applying what we learned moving forward will determine of the other opportunities that we'll get in the future. So yes, those are the lessons I learned. Not giving I don't care. Feeling that you have painted me to be this bad, whether it was a bad parent, bad mama, bad negligent, I don't care. And that was a part of me healing. Because I cared too much. I cared entirely too much for people who have shown me over and over that they don't give a damn about me. And that was me overextending myself and overreaching. And that's a part of healing abandonment and codependency issues or wounds that I've had to, learn that I'm working through as well. We don't know how healed we are unless we're triggered. And so we can say, yeah, I worked on this and I'm healed in this area, and then somebody do something, you be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? I had to learn that on a personal. Okay, that was a lesson learned from, I said I was healed. I'm working through. I'm healing. This is a journey for me, and I'm owning my journey here. And I hope that to inspire others to come along this journey with me with being the villain. They be lying anyway. They be gossiping. Like, come on. And then I glow up on you. You feel me? I just glow up and grow up on you and just leave you in the dust. Just peace out on you. You feel me? Like, that's being the villain, like the good villain. See, I ain't no bad villain. You feel me? I'm a good villain with the halo around and be like, oh, he, oh. Okay, like,
stop it. He's so dang foolish. No, you can't be a good villain.
Just good villain, damn.
No, okay. The thing about being the villain is that it's no good or bad. It's like when we watch Wakanda, and I forget the guy's name, but the person who he was battling in the first Wakanda, he wasn't bad. He just had different views. The perspective was different. And that's what we're trying to get away from. The ideas of good and bad, right and wrong, those are not real. Those are lessons, based on your morals and character, you decide what's good and what's bad. But the person on the opposite end of that stick who thinks the opposite of you is not necessarily bad. They just have a different opinion. And so the villain phase is not about being the bad guy, technically. It's about being okay with being the bad guy in someone else's perspective. It's about being okay with choosing you and your desires over what someone perceives you to be. And so, yes, you are entering a beautiful villain phase where you get to explore your own desires over the desires of others, as you should. You should be out here creating your own sense of heaven and not worrying about what other people believe you to be while you're doing it.
Right.
That's called living authentically. And unfortunately, in 2024, living authentically can have you placed in the space of villain. And it's okay to be okay with that. Yeah. So that's where we are.
I'm in there. Okay.
You're doing it.
Because I'm so nice. I'm just so loving and so caring and so woo woo woo. And then sometimes you have the stinker got to come out and sting your ass sometimes. I mean, I had to bring it back because, big Scorpio season. Shout out to all the Scorpios. Happy birthday to all the Scorpios. Okay. Just say, yes, big Scorpio energy. So I'm okay with being a villain during Scorpio season. Hey, you talking about I'm growing, I'm evolving. And so choosing myself.
Yes.
That's something that had been foreign to me for a long time because I had been a wife. I'm a mother. And so I put a lot of everyone else's needs before my own, as all mothers at some point in time in their life that they do. And it's something that has to be, retrained or relearned for us as women here to regain that, to be able to have that self-love, to know how to do it, right? How to even start, to begin the steps to.
It just goes back to transactional thinking. What women do is end up sacrificing. Sacrifice is, let's just put this out. No one is more or less important than you are. Let me say it again. No one is more important or less important than you are. We are all important. And the first person who you choose to be important should be the self.
Mm-hmm.
That is just the root. You are the drop of God existing in this realm and exploring experiences that will bring you higher and closer to God Himself. So no one should be more important than you. And one of the things that I always find with women is that we're constantly sacrificing self. See, men make sacrifices, but it's not usually sacrificing the self. They sacrifice money, they sacrifice energy, they sacrifice effort, they sacrifice, things, material things. But the core of who they are is usually still the core of who they are.
Mm,
But women will attempt to become other things to satisfy what's needed in a space. And to that, I say, don't.
mm,
When you're chosen as you are, you should exist as you are. Let me break that down.
mm,
So, let's talk about marriage. When a partner chooses a woman, he chooses her to be as she is. And when
mm,
women tell the story of them within marriage, they're always turning into something else.
mm,
See, we play the role of victim in these stories, and really, we're just poor negotiators. We don't know how to negotiate the contract of our experience within marriages. And so we
mm.
end up sacrificing ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah. And then by the time we decide, no, we're going to get back to being who we are, we're perceived as villains. And see, for me, I celebrate the villain phase because whenever a woman decides to get back to the core of who she is, it's a celebration. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't care that you lost yourself before you figure out how to be the villain. It's just once you're comfortable with it, flow into that. Navigate this in terms of who you are and how you can exist with another person and be the self authentically. I celebrate it all day, every day. And so, yes, I'm loving your villain phase. And really, we just need to learn how to negotiate. That's
Mm,
really the core of it. And the core of negotiations is communication. Women will have to work on becoming better communicators. And to become a better communicator, you have to know what you're fighting for, which means you have to know thyself.
mm-hmm. Right.
This is why people say as you get older, or as women get older, they get more honorary. No, it's not honorary. I know myself more now, and I know how to speak up more for myself. I know how to negotiate these contracts where I'm not short sighted and I'm not taking a loss and sacrificing the core of who I am just to be within this relationship. I don't lose myself anymore.
Mm,
You actually get the person that you chose. And the beauty of that is that most men they know what they're choosing when they choose it. The man
mm,
doesn't even like when you change. He didn't ask you to do that.
right.
He was just going with the flow of the relationship. And because you didn't know how to negotiate, you let it turn into something that you didn't like. Men actually appreciate women who can retain their self identity within the relationship. They
Right.
appreciate them more, respect them more, and love them deeper
Mm,
because this woman is who he chose. And so, yes, I believe you're in a beautiful space to create something beautiful with a partner and to create the life that you desire.
mess
Yeah.
up. Uh, yes. Yes. Okay. That you know, said so wonderfully. Yes, said so wonderfully and so eloquently. Um, learning those different parts of myself, and learning how to have these skills or gaining them and learning negotiation. Speak it up for yourself, right? That was major for me because I've always known to have been passive aggressive. You know what I mean? I can be very passive, kind of go. What happened? You didn't say that. Oh yeah, you're right. I didn't. So right, and so I attribute that to because taking it to where I study, right? And I would say, well, I got a lot of air in me. I got my rise in Libra, so I might come off a little woo. Details may fly across me over there. I might have some, but So when it comes to, I ain't think about that till after then. Damn, I should have asked that. You ain't never. Oh man, I wasn't thinking during the time because when you in it, when you're actually in the situation, you're just like, well, all the things I was thinking about, I was supposed to say. Damn, I forgot to say. But I really do. I really do honor the process, though. I will say. And that's why I don't have any regrets. I don't be mad at none. I ain't never had no regrets. I've never, because I've known that everything that I've gone through and experienced here is a lesson here for me. It's just for me to be able to experience. I'm supposed to experience it. I can't get mad at something that is a cause and an effect. If I made a decision and that's what happened, that was the effect from the cause. Okay, well, I got to deal with that and keep it moving. A lot of times people will stay stuck in that. They will stay stuck in the woe is me and then become a little victim and be like, and knowing good and well, we didn't walk past by 5 small red flags. You feel me? And so when we walking past these 5 small flags, these 5 small green flags, I'm sorry, these 5 small green flags, they be like, okay, I like this, 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 I like this. And then it'd be like that one red flag be like, boom, like it. You'd be like, I know them was 5 good green flags, but they were like this small. It was this small. See this? About this small. But then that big red flag was like, bam. Okay, so we're like this and this. So our intuition.
But let's talk about that. Okay. Let's talk about that. Yeah. Because red flags and green flags. I see a lot of women with the green flags. They call them small, but they're huge green flags. And then the red flags that women perceive, they call them big, but I see them as small. And so let's discuss the red flags and the green flags because we go back into accountability. Sometimes the things that we're projecting onto other people are about us. Like I'm in this little witchy group or whatever on Facebook, and a woman says, I had intercourse during my cycle and now I feel more attached to my partner. Please tell me how to equal or how to make him feel more attached to me. And when I read it, it wasn't exactly for verbatim that she gave a little more details. But what I heard is that she had her own breakthrough. Having sex on your cycle is another level of love for self. It's another level of acceptance for what is a natural state for a woman. And then you sought pleasure during that experience. This is a personal breakthrough that this woman has projected onto this man. And now she has found fault in him not perceiving the experience as something more special. And so sometimes the red flags that we're believing exist in our partner are actually lacks that exist within ourselves. And it is simply perception that does not allow us to hold ourselves accountable in those moments. So once I explained to her that you had your own personal breakthrough, it was you who sought pleasure while you were defunct in some way based on some kind of truth that you have presented to your own mind. And so now that you've had the breakthrough, it's important to not project your breakthrough onto your partner, but to celebrate your own personal victory and to remove the idea of being defunct while you're on your cycle. This is a natural part of being a woman. And so there is nothing wrong with you when your uterus is shedding. There is no difference in you then or when it's not happening. And you're going to have to learn to love yourself through every cycle that exists for you as a woman. And so I hear a lot of stories where women are not understanding what red and green flags are
Yeah.
because we're used to projecting and not seeing these things clearly for ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, so sometimes when we're saying, oh, the green flags are small and the red flag is big, the red flag is only big because of ourselves. It's not necessarily big in the scheme of things. It's
Hmm.
big because we have our own issues with it. And
Right.
that's what we need to work out, the issue, not judging our partners.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So now let's rethink that thought with what I just provided you. Where were you going?
Well, what I was going was with what the number of flags, okay, big or small. And if it was 5, and then she looked at like 2, and it was changing the mindset. And what you came to was changing the mindset and the process of how we um, are perceiving things.
Mm,
And so when we're working back on ourselves, everything should always go back to accountability of self first. Then you working your way out. And so if
yeah.
we're already working on our way out of judging or, our partners or whoever else, then we must check ourselves, our star players first, and working on ourselves first before
Yeah.
requiring anyone to do anything outside of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I've definitely, yeah, I'm learning that. Yeah, for sure. I've definitely gone through those different phases of my life and had to learn that with each partner, actually. And so taking on these lessons it's only making me a better woman. And so that's the beauty of it. It's the way that we look at things. It's the way that we perceive experience in our life. Like, like you're saying, the concepts of the good and bad. Oh, I had this bad experience. Okay, it was just an experience, and maybe it was unpleasant. You probably didn't like it, but it was just an experience. And so the way that we will perceive those things, it definitely can change the storyline of what we are saying and what we're speaking and giving life to as well. So yes, yes, yes. I'm loving it. I'm like old McDonald's face. Okay, 22 on the timer. Okay, guys, again, welcome to Dria Talks Thursdays. And I definitely I'm keep this like this is 11:11 though, actually, when we're recording this here. So it is a portal right now. So the information, the downloads that are coming through here are definitely very authentic and very strong, and definitely necessary in order to heal. We seek healing through counsel for a group of us. And the past few readings that I've been getting, have been about writing. And that card has been coming out, pretty much consistently, writing or being an author. And so you heal and inspire and entertain, right, through the words that you write. And so that's part of your life purpose for a group of people. Like, I was like, oh wow, this has been coming out a lot. And so getting back into writing is going to be super important, that I'm getting this download. And so even for myself, I got my got my note, got it out, got my pen, getting back into tapping into the different tools and resources that we can use to help ourselves heal and focus on self-love. These are some of the things by writing our feelings, writing our emotions, writing out what's going on for the day. These are going to be things that we can implement too, into pouring into ourselves and open up with the affirmations and the things like that to pour into ourselves and to be able to tap in, because during this time, this is very powerful time right now. This is a lot of energy here, even after having the election. Normally in the month of November, when the election is held, it's so much energy that's harnessed during that time. And so that's why, of course, they would have the election during Scorpio season, whichever. Go figure. You feel me? Go figure. And so I've seen it transform. We've seen it transform into different things, and be like, wow, I didn't see that coming, or wow, this is really crazy. And so when life is like that, life is crazy sometimes. It may seem like that, our perception, because of either we going through something or coming out of something. That's life. That's all it is. It's cycles. Either you just came out of something or you go through something. That's life. And so being able to have resources and getting information from people like yourself, from leaders, spiritual leaders in the community, to spiritual healers out there in the community, for us to be able to seek out those ones who can help get us there, who can help inspire us. Because doing it for us, for the masses, doing it for them won't help them, but teaching them the tools to be able to use on their own. Because you can't call me at 3 a.m. when you didn't got, in a fight. You ain't finna call me. You better remember what I told you about 6 hours ago when you was on my live. Yeah, you talking about, you know what I'm saying? So,
well, when you're discussing writing, one thing that I tell my clients is when you're in the moment of an emotion, write down the emotion. Write down specifically what you feel in the moment, even if you're just rewriting what happened. And then when you've calmed from the experience, go back and think about the type of person that you want to be, and then rewrite the experience from that space. See, when we're emotional, we find ourselves in a space of victimhood. And if we don't rewrite our narrative, then we end up expressing that victimhood to the masses.
Right.
And so write your truths while you're in the moment so there's an authentic experience, but then go back and rewrite it after you've attained the energy that you're attempting to meet. Because we should all be trying to be better than we are right now. Like the aspiration is to be better tomorrow than I was today. And so wherever I want to see myself in the future, whether I want to see myself more peaceful, I want to see myself more accountable, I want to see myself more responsible for myself and my experience. I want to see myself from a space of creating my reality as opposed to allowing my reality to create me. And so when I write how I'm feeling in the moment, I release that energy. But when I go back and rewrite it from a space of who I want to be, now I have recreated the narrative that I speak into the universe, and that will be mirrored back onto me.
Right.
And so that's part of what I definitely tell my clients so that they can get to know themselves from their higher self and not necessarily just reiterating what they're going through in the moment so that it reverberates back onto them. That's called rumination. When we're only talking about what exists right now in the moment and we're not creating the life that we want. And so this is a means of ascending from that experience.
Right.
Yeah. So when you talk about writing, that's where my mind goes. I tell people write and then rewrite. Don't just write who you are in the moment.
Right. I like that. Heck yeah. Okay. Heck yeah. Ashe. Okay. Yeah. I like that because you're rewriting your story, rewriting your life story, right? And again, the story I wrote at first would look a lot different being from the villain aspect. You feel me? Okay, just period. It's empowering. Learning the art of letting go.
And it is definitely an art.
It's an art. It's an art. Oh, yeah. Wow. Because you can't just
art.
Learning how to let go. That's a battle for a lot of people. That's a real battle. Within self. because you're really battling yourself though. That's tough. You know, you're some people, and I know I'm speaking from personal experience, you will be torn from within yourself. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what to go, left or right, up or down. You know what I'm saying? And so being able to let go a part of yourself, but just to transform it or transmute it, and finding a balance in it is what I've learned that works best for me. But being able to allow something, whether it be a person, place, thing, or idea or behavior, letting something go that you have been programmed for all your life or half your life, or, you know, that's one thing that you have to be dedicated and have the willpower to want to have to manifest that.
Well, it's not willpower. At the end
Okay.
of the day, every person has masculine and feminine energy. It is a feminine energy to let go and to flow and to seek balance. Feminine energy is like water.
Right.
When I experience someone who is cold, I may turn to ice, and that part makes me physical, and now I cannot flow through things. I pause, peace be still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When someone makes me feel like a warm bath, I simply flow and I seek balance like water. You know, and that's the part that women, and I'll say feminine energy is not being explored to its totality in this time,
Okay.
because the seeking of balance is the part, like a balance for water. We can call it that. Like water is gonna flow downstream until it meets a place where it can level itself out.
Mm-hmm.
And so for the physical, or for a person, a human experience with that, it would be self-regulation. Self-regulation is where you seek balance.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're flowing, this is a choice.
Right.
Everyone has masculine and feminine energy, and the trick is not to be one or the other, but simply to choose when to exist as either or.
Mm.
Women are constantly talking about how, you know, if you have to be a single mother, then yeah, you would need to exist in your masculine energy. And for the most part, when you're going to work and you're operating, this is true. But
Mm.
that part where we fight life, where we're deciding that we need to go upstream when life keeps telling us to flow downward. That's the way things flow, and to seek balance in the downward motion and to
Mm.
trust that you're
Yeah.
going to be okay. That is a feminine endeavor. And so while we have both of these energies within us, it's important to know when to operate under one or the other. And women are choosing masculine energy when feminine
Mm.
energy would better suit them.
Ha.
It's, yeah, especially when you're dealing with the masculine. The part that we don't realize is that masculine understands itself in regards to feminine. So when we present as masculine in spaces where masculinity is trying to understand itself, it's a fight.
Mm.
There's
Okay.
nothing to flow and to experience itself with. It's just a battle. And so when we learn to let go and to trust nature, to trust the universe, to trust just life, you've been okay. It's like women forget that you've been through all of these things and you've been okay. You've
Right.
made it.
You
Life
made
has still, yes, you made it. When something happened previously, you made it. And it's okay to allow things to happen and to simply trust that you'll make it, and it'll be okay. It's always okay.
right.
And when it's not, what, you're not here anymore, it's not even your problem, you know? Like, as long as you're here, you made it through that. It's this thing where we keep deciding that our hearts are porcelain. Your heart
Mm.
is not porcelain. Your heart is the strongest muscle in your body. You have the capabilities of bounce back. Just like your coochie bounce back after you have a baby and you dilate 10 centimeters, your
Okay.
heart bounces back. It doesn't have to be the end of the world because things didn't work out the way that you thought they should or the way that you idealized that they should. You're going to be okay. And if you trust that process, you end up having a better experience because masculine is having an experience in regards and in relation to you. And the more feminine that you are, the more masculinity gets to experience itself and gets to show up in your life as partnership, as love, as opportunity, as help. I keep saying this to women. Women deserve so much more from ourselves and from our experience. And it really just depends on how much you're willing to lean into trusting that everything is going to be okay. It's going to be okay. When women talk about our ancestors, my grandmother, and I'll tell you, let me just say it. I had one grandmother who was married at 25 to a 19-year-old. She was not
Mm,
groomed. She chose my grandfather. They had their love the way they had it. And my grandmother lived her whole life that I knew her as, saying that she had a good husband.
mm,
She had a good husband and she missed her husband. He died a year or so before I was born. But all I knew is that my grandmother loved her husband and she had a good husband. And then I had a grandmother who had 5 children by approximately 4 different men. She worked multiple jobs to pay for herself. And she didn't necessarily to pay for herself and her kids, and she didn't necessarily find the value in relationships and things of that nature. And so I was presented with options. I had already realized if I follow this option, I get what this option got. And so I had a choice to make. And at the end of the day, I am different from the norm of women in 2024 because I
mm,
made choices. And
mm,
I also have partnership. I am not out here doing it by myself and just being bogged down by life itself because I made choices. And that goes back to accountability. It goes
mhm.
back to us trusting that everything's going to be okay. Women should be able to wear muumuus with the pocket and let your man come in and hike it up and you bend over the kitchen sink. And whatever comes of that, you
Uh-uh.
know it's going to be okay. He going to take care of it. That is a gift and a blessing within itself for me to just bend over and experience this pleasure and to know that whatever happens, you got my back. You're
Right.
going to figure it out. We're going to work it out together. That is a gift and a blessing, regardless of the times.
Mm,
And what I keep saying to women is my grandmother, when she tells my grandfather, this is my grandmother on my father's side, when she tells me she had a good husband, it does not mean she didn't see herself as a victim.
mm,
Her and him may have been a victim of the times, you know? They may have been a victim of society and how it perceived them and how it treated them, but they chose to go at life together. They
mm.
chose that whatever they were going to do, they were going to deal with it together. They
Yeah.
were not at odds, seeing each other as enemies. They
Mm,
were a team. And whatever traumas they came into the relationship with, whatever that created, was just a part of the experience. My grandmother never saw herself as a victim,
mm,
regardless of what it looked like. And so when we're out here treating our hearts like they're porcelain, and instead of being the strongest muscle that your body has to offer, we're denying ourselves the opportunity to experience life to its fullest.
yeah.
We're denying ourselves the opportunity to have a full life that exists with friendships too, with children and lives in addition to the beauty of the partnerships that we create in our main relationships.
Mm-hmm.
One of the most important things you can do is choose a partner. And when you don't choose a partner, you are denying yourself one of the biggest parts of life and living, to love another person as you love yourself. That is literally the root of everything that we're supposed to do when we're here. So choosing a partner is the most important thing that you can do in your life. And so
Hmm.
when I hear women say, I'm pregnant for someone, but it's not special, it's not important, it's not a
Yeah,
big
that's
deal until I'm I'm flabbergasted. I feel so bad for them in their experience. I want so much more for you, sis. Like, and so watching you go through your experience where you're growing and evolving and you're realizing that you get to be who you are in every moment,
great.
who you are in the moment before you learn the next lesson. You get to be who you are right now, even in your mistakes, even in what you might decide, oh, dang, I could have did this better. You might decide that later, but in
Oh
that
man.
moment, you're just you. Yeah. But in that moment, you're just you, and you've made peace with someone perceiving you as
Mhm.
something less than what you would desire them to believe. And it's okay. It's okay to make a mistake. It's beautiful. It's
Yeah.
beautiful because it's the steps that you have to take to get to the part where you do receive partnership, where you do receive the love that you deserve, and where you do get to embrace feminine energy, where you allow things to flow. And so I'm watching you become more beautiful every day. And I wish for that to exist in every woman's experience.
Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, that's so tender. Oh, little heart, guys. Okay. Uh, the journey. Look, I ain't got my glasses on. What is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
look like me. Yeah, look.
Look, yeah, look close, closer than close. Okay. That. Um, partner. Choosing a partner is definitely one of the things. I mean, I'm about to say, I didn't want some. No, you know what? Don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Look, anyway, moving on. I'm enjoying the journey, though. I will say, not caring or not worrying about the emotional welfare of someone that has shown me otherwise of how much they care for me in their actions or their lack of. Um, and empowering myself, right, to still keep moving and still have an open heart. A lot of times we do, right? You said when that water flows and it turned into ice, if I turned, just as cold as you are, right, and that restricts the flow of the water. And so yeah, that's totally true. And that has happened to me to where if I'm triggered, the trigger in me would be like, I'm finna match your energy. Okay, just period. And so I have to check my star player, y'all. I have to, and it takes maturity, y'all. It do take maturity. Because we can be petty as heck. We can be petty.
But I don't like the idea of matching energy. Matching
Right,
energy,
right. That's
it
what I'm
sounds
saying.
like matching energy is vindictive. And so
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a thing of being vindictive, but when it's cold, water turns to ice.
Right.
Water
Well,
cannot
you
flow. If
told
I'm an ice cube, I cannot flow downstream.
right.
I am now. And so I think it's important to express that truth because that is feminine, whereas vindictive, it may be a masculine thing. Matching energy is definitely masculine. But me simply becoming frozen because it is cold here is something different. That is still me flowing and responding to the energy that is provided, but it's different because ice is natural for water when it's cold.
Mm-hmm.
It's not me turning into something else.
Well, let me say this, because I wish I had picked up one of my cards, and one of my cards was standstill. I can't remember the number on it, but it was standstill and it was frozen in ice, right? They had like two snowmans. And so the thing, I think it was stalemate was one of the words for it, standstill, you know, being in a still position, something that I'm looking at as cold as ice. She was cold as ice and go, baby. Okay, I'm talking about that type of cold to where,
Yes.
right? I'm talking about that type of cold to where your heart as a woman that's supposed to be feminine is supposed to be opening and nurturing and caring and supportive, that if enough has been done to that warm heart, and then that heart chakra or chakra, it starts to close up, right? It starts to close up and harden up due to, being hurt, wanting to preserve or protect the heart. We'll do things, what self-sabotage, you say one of the things, we'll self-sabotage or do certain things to protect that heart. What we feel like we're doing is protecting the heart, but we're closing ourselves up. And something I've had to realize and work through as one of the lower traits of being a Scorpio is being vindictive. That's what we're known for, being vindictive. That's a Scorpion trait. And so working through that and transforming into another level of making better decisions or different choices got me to, in the life of peace of mind, of the peace that I've created in my life, are due to simply the choices that I've made up until now, navigating through the waters. And still, may have gone through some experiences that were unpleasant. Okay, that make you want to just bam. Okay, just swing on it. You know what I'm saying? But still staying open and still being optimistic to what's on the other side after I heal, after I go past this, after I get past this, after I've gone through this era, after I've gone through this phase, after I've gone through this season with this person, after I've gone through, so after that, it's like I'm able to take a deep breath and realize, like, okay, there's beauty on the other side. That went so bad. I don't know what I was tripping about. I don't know why I was in fear. I don't know why I was sweating bullets. I don't know why. When the fact is, like you said, I've always been okay. I've always been taken care of. I've always gotten through. I've always made it through. And so the mental process of even being our best cheerleaders, we have to tell ourselves and hype ourselves, hell yeah, I'm gonna do this. Hey, I got this. I am strong. I am powerful. These are affirmations as well that we tell ourselves to give us this motivation of where, to thrust us into greatness, our greatness at the end of the tunnel. And so me entering the villain phase is a great part of that healing journey for me, that I'm owning. That I'm loving it. Oh, McDonald's, I'm loving it. I am, and showing the world who I am. I'm not even gonna say the real, because I always been real. I ain't never been fake. You feel me? What you see is what you get. And sometimes I gotta learn how to hold my cards. You gotta know when to hold them. Get you, girl. Know when to fold them. Okay, I was like, dang. Okay, know when to walk away. And so, as a woman learning, right, learning the process, right, of not oversharing, over, giving too much information up front, and things like that. These are lessons that we're learning, that I'm learning, everyone else is learning right along aside it here. I'm no different from anyone else. I'm not exempt to living life. People be thinking because, they be like, well, shoot, you psychic, you this, you that, you can see, can't you just, you know, whip up, your life, the life that you want? Like, that's not how that works. And furthermore, I would want to experience what life has me here to do. I don't want to take no shortcuts. I want to experience life right along with y'all. That's the whole point. I came here to experience these emotions that we're here to learn here on earth, on how to navigate them, how to keep them balanced, and how to stay grounded. While also staying grounded, but staying open, still open to receiving, because that's feminine, right? And the staying open to
Mm-hmm.
receive, being receptive. And so that's something I've had to, learn as well. I've had to learn about my self-esteem growing up, and had to battle with that, and accepting a compliment for a real compliment as an adult is kind of weird, when all my life I had to fight. I had to get it out. I had to say it one last time because I ain't said it in a long time.
Well, let
Um,
me say this.
yeah.
Let me say this. My name is Rebellarity, and I always tell people make your clarity rebellious. And the reason for that is because um, I exist in a space of love. I exist in a space of unconditional love and without judgment. There is nothing under the sun that's going to shock me. There's nothing new under the sun. And I come from a space of understanding. That if either I understand or I'm simply attempting to understand.
Mhm.
It's never judgment of another person. And so that term, vindictive, for Scorpio, I believe it's a mislabel.
Mhm.
I believe someone who has decided they are a victim decided that Scorpio was vindictive. But if vindictive requires intention.
Right.
Yeah, if a Scorpio's intention is get back, then it may be vindictive. But if we're talking about feminine energy flowing, and we have simply stated that when things become cold, ice is
Mhm.
simply what water becomes. That is not an intention. That is not an intention to hurt anyone. That is simply, it's cold here. I have become solid and now I cannot flow.
Mhm.
That is not vindictive. That is
Mhm.
simply a, a effect of a cause.
Okay. All right. All right.
Get it? And so I don't like the language
Okay.
because it is feminine for me to flow, and that takes it away from being a astrological sign and more into femininity itself. I will flow. But if you make it cold, I will become solid and I cannot flow. You will need to warm my area. You will need to warm me if you would like to experience the flow of my energy. That is a feminine statement. And so Scorpio in feminine exists that way. And the part about the villain, it's not that you're intentionally trying to do anything to anyone, but for a villain to exist, a victim has to exist. And so, because someone chooses to look at their life as though they are a victim, this just means that you will have to exist as a villain. And this is coming from a space of tolerance. I accept that you have the choice to look at your life as if you are a victim and as if I am a villain. I do not try to dissuade you from your understanding. I have compassionate tolerance for your understanding, and thus I have made peace with being the villain in your story. It is not that you are a bad guy, you are actually the good guy here. because the person who has decided that they are a victim has decided that they are good and you are bad, and you have not made a decision about the experience one way or another. You have simply accepted their understanding of the experience. And so for me, getting out of that matrix of duality is the part that makes you the higher consciousness. It is the part that releases you from worry, fear, or concern that someone who's looking at life in terms of duality has decided that you are anything. Because it really wouldn't matter whether they called you the victim, the victor, the villain, whatever. None of those terms matter. You just are.
Right.
And that is what life is about, just being.
Just
Just
existing.
being as you are. And that is the beauty that exists in being okay with being the villain. I don't care what you call me. I am as I am, and you are free to perceive me if you choose to perceive me. And so when you do perceive me, have fun. Tell me who you are. I have shown you who I am. Tell me who you are. And so, yes, the villain phase is beautiful. Yes, it is empowering. It is free because it is simply someone's idea of what you are. You just are.
That's me.
You just are. And you're beautiful. I love it.
That's me. I love
Yes.
it. I get to be, guys. I just get to be, and yeah, I'm loving it. I'm loving the phase, the era, for sure. I'm enjoying it here. Okay. And especially enjoying this Scorpio season. I just, another year around the sun, and I'm learning so much. Maybe having, little here and there. Hey, dang. But for the most part, I don't know. I'm loving my journey here because I see myself getting better and better. It's not about the sprinting, and so it is about having patience and still headed to that end game, that end goal here, to the finish line, and so it just be getting better and better. So I'm like, I know I'm on the right track. I know I'm on the right track. It might have not been a long shot better, but it was better than the lag. It was better than the lag. Okay. I'm working with some. I need to
Working with a lot.
You feel me? I mean, So, and so, yes, I'm okay. This, what I'm titling is being okay with being the villain. Okay with being the villain is gonna be the title of this episode here, guys. And I'm happy I'm gonna be the villain because I was already the villain anyway. Shit, let y'all tell them I was the worst, some of a B, this, that, and the third. I was this. I was everything already. So I was like, well, shit. I was already there, according to you. So I mean, I'm okay though. I'm okay with it. With it being in my face, okay? Because I'm gonna find out. No, I'm just playing. But anyway. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this week's Dria Talks Thursdays. Happy birthday again to all of the lovely Scorpios. It is Scorpio season. Happy 11/11 as well. Probably by the time y'all see it, it'll be like the 13th or 14th or something like that. But who cares? We got a great message. I got off what I needed to get off to let y'all know I do not give up. I do not care. I don't have any more to give out that bag. I don't. I'm gonna live my best life. I'm gonna go up on y'all. I'm gonna continue doing my thing. I'm gonna continue answering the call every time. I'm going to continue on my assignment, wherever God is sending me. I'm still going. It doesn't matter. Nothing's going to stop or hinder or disrupt that path that I'm on. So until then, guys, have a great week. We'll check you later. Bye. Hold on. Let me hit bye. Let me hit the end. Toodles.